Hey everybody, Eric Bean, CEO of Happy. Part three of how to start a software company without a big budget, without a lot of money. So far, we're in for a lot of time if you watch part one and two, but not a lot of money. So far, you're under 2 grand, unless you have a whole bunch of pages for your design, maybe under three if you have a bunch. And you have your wireframes. You actually, if you've paid somebody to put the click through together, might be a little bit more than that, but overall, there's no way you're over 5 grand except for your time. Right now, you put in a ton of time. But here's where it gets tricky. So now you got to go out and raise money. And I've been in front of angels and VCs, and really the difference is angels tend to be smaller amount of money, and will look at a smaller entity. So VCs won't touch you until usually you're over about $3 million annual, and that's even then, that's kind of small. The angels will take a look at you at a much smaller level. They know the risk is higher, but they also know the money is less. So the best place to start are local angel groups. Angel investor groups tend to focus on their local area, their city, their town. If you're in a small town, find a bigger town with an angel group or one that represents the state. And the reason the angel investor groups like local is they like to be able to interact with you. If they're going to give you your money, their hard-earned money, they want to be able to have their hands-on experience. There's also accelerator programs, which are sort of aggregates of angels. Definitely a good thing to get involved in. They're going to walk you through and work you to put together all the information, to go through the process. And then at the end, almost all people do end up getting money that go through the whole process. Not everybody, though. Sometimes your idea just isn't that good, or maybe it's a great idea, but people don't feel it the same way you do. One thing that shocked me, going through these processes, is how little these angel investors and VCs actually care about technology itself. So you may go in armed with what a microservice is, architecture, a lot of things we've talked about, Socket IO, talking about your real time streaming, talking about all the different tricks for AI on you know uh, recognition on Amazon or whatever you have. Your architecture, your stack, as they say, which is what you have in the back end, middle, and your development language, and your technology stack, what you're using for technology, talking about MongoDB or whatever you're going to do, and explaining the benefits. They don't give a shit. They don't care. I got asked no technical questions, and I found it disturbing a little bit because, you should want to know a little bit about what's under the hood, not just look at the pretty part, but really they just cared about the idea and whether or not the click through is there. You can go a long way with a good idea and a wireframe with click throughs, and the requirements piece that, again, I told you don't share it. But you want to be able to show the idea so that they can visualize where you're going with this and what their money is going to be put towards. You will, unless you're a programmer yourself, which again is an option. You can go learn to program. It's a long road. It's going to take you a few years to get good enough to be able to build a really good app, even if you're pretty smart, unless you have a background in it. But the real trick here is getting in front of people locally to start, and then maybe checking out some different groups and expanding your reach. There are some groups out there that if you pay or if you become a part of, you'll get to present in front of 30, 40 people. It's going to be a lot of work. You might end up at a lot of local technology groups. I was asked to speak at a lot of Orlando tech events in front of a few hundred people, and that's a great way to meet people. Um, it's a great way to present your product. They'll often do things. Hey, let me give you 5 minutes to go tell people what you're about and what makes your product unique. But either way, don't be don't be surprised when they don't ask a bunch of tech questions. What they actually care about is, more, not even features. It's more like the great Steve Jobs said. They want to know how this is going to be a lifestyle thing. How is it going to help? What does it mean on a larger scale? What's the long-term opportunity here? How do you make money? What is your go-to-market strategy? That's a big one. And you're going to want to research that, because that doesn't mean, well, I have an email list, et cetera. It means how are you going to go out and go to market? So with Happy, the go to market is a white label. We're going to go out to groups and form partnerships and let them go sell the product and make money with it. So it's got a lot of different inherent money making pieces built in, so that people can leverage the technology, upcharge from what we charge them, and go out and make a ton of money. Because I don't want to build a sales force. I just want to build cool technology and have other people make money. So that's our go to market. You might have a different go to market strategy. So you're gonna basically take what you have, the visuals, and you're gonna go out and start pitching. And at first, it's gonna be a little awkward. It might not be your thing, but once you do it enough, right? Once you've actually perfected it, worked on that elevator by the way, speech, um, it becomes more natural. You're going to want to have a under 30-second version of what you do, a 1 minute version of what you do, and a 15-minute version of what you do. You're going to want to have presentations that are really good, that can go up on a presentation board, where you can walk people through the vision of what you have, not features, the vision of what you have, how it's going to help benefit people, how it's going to change their life, how it's going to make money, and what the expected ROI is and the expected time frame. The odds of you building a product without raising money overall, unless you're a programmer, is pretty low. It will cost you a minimum of 40 grand even to build a basic app. And it'll take a few months. And again, we're building progressive web apps now. We're not building Microsoft or Android and Apple anymore. It's just too expensive to have two code bases and two different sets of programmers. They have different languages. They require different skills. And then you're going to have a web version, because you're going to have a web presence. So so far we'd have a website up and some other things going, and you're going to need a lot of content. That's one of the reasons I do these things, is the content's great, but because it's live on YouTube, they stack rank it higher. They know they don't need to go out and index it. They don't need to have their spider go out. They know this is exclusive, unique content to YouTube, and they will present it at a higher level quicker, and they'll rank it higher because they don't have to go out and sick their spiders to go out and crawl and figure out what's what. So that's another trick. But long story short, we now have wireframes, we now have a logo, we have a website. You go out now and you just start pitching, man. And one thing, just to hopefully save you some time, real estate people are very curious about tech, but just keep in mind, if you talk to real estate people, it's a different world for them. The tech world isn't really what they do. Some of them will invest, so don't let this thwart it. But just keep in mind that there's going to be a learning curve for most real estate people. They don't get the tech world or the value. As far as valuations go and what you should expect, it used to be about $2 million as a starting point for your valuation was pretty reasonable. That's changed. It's actually lower now. You'll be lucky to get $1 million valuation today, even with inflation. It's just because there have been so many things that have gone bust, and right now the market's not great. So you might give up, 9% of your company for 90 grand. But if that helps you get that thing launched, using Upwork programmers, then so be it. Now, the next part of this is going to be managing the development staff, because once you get that money, you have to make that money work for you, and you can get screwed by programmers. I've been screwed over by many programmers. So I will walk you through the next segment how to avoid getting screwed over, how to make sure that the money is actually with deliverables, how to manage the actual product development piece, and some really exciting news with Happy. We actually have the website up right now for anybody who's interested. I'll type it right here at the side, but it's HTTPS, because that means that it does have a secure layer to it. And we have gone live with the website. Now, I still need to go through and make sure that there aren't any misspelled words. There's a few places in there where I used, different tenses that I'm not really, sure about. So I got to go through and standardize that. But it's a lot of content. It's up. You'll get a better idea of what we're doing. You can even see some visuals of the product. The explainer video is up there as well. So go to happyhappi.com whenever you can. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear questions. If you come across it and go, I still don't know what the fuck you guys do, I want to know that, because it has to be clear, concise, to the point. And that's kind of tough because this product has so much stuff to it. But either way, everybody stay blessed, be happy, and we'll talk again tomorrow.